I'm so glad you're here, because today, we're going to talk about something intimate. Something we all share, but rarely, truly, look in the eye. Let's be completely honest with each other, just for these next few minutes. Have you ever felt it? That vague uneasiness. That feeling, when you wake up, and for no specific reason, the day just feels heavy, like a blanket you can't shake off. Or maybe it's that knotted stomach. You're about to give a presentation, or send a risky email, or have a difficult conversation, and your whole abdomen just clenches. Or, maybe, it's not so vague. Maybe it's that dizzying panic. That terrifying, overwhelming moment when the floor drops out from beneath you, your heart hammers against your ribs, and your mind screams, as if the world is ending. You know what I'm talking about. We all do. This is fear. It's the 3 a.m. shadow in the corner of your room. It's the what if that hijacks your thoughts. What if I lose my job? What if this headache is something serious? What if they leave me? What if I fail? What if I'm not good enough? It affects us all, variously. And we spend so much of our precious energy, our precious life, trying to manage this fear. We build walls to keep it out. We create routines and safety nets. We distract ourselves. We numb ourselves. We fight it. We rationalize it. We try to meditate it away. And still, it's there. But where does it come from? And where, oh where, does it go? If you are tired, just bone tired, of being a prisoner to this feeling, if you are ready to genuinely understand it, not just on the surface, but at its very root, and perhaps, just perhaps, find a way to be truly free from it, then you have come to the right place. We are going to go deep today. We are going to use the profound, the radical, and often shocking, wisdom of Osho to dissect this thing called fear. So settle in. This is not a 5-minute quick fix video. This is a deep dive, a commitment to your own freedom. And if you're new here, and you're ready for conversations that genuinely aim to transform your life, consider hitting that subscribe button and joining us. Because today, we are not just talking about ideas, we are talking about your liberation. And trust me, you will want to hear this through to the very end. So, the first, biggest, most human question: how best to deal with fear? Osho's answer is so simple, so direct, it's easy to miss. He says, all your fears are byproducts of identification. That's it. Let's just stop right there and breathe that in. The entire key is in that one sentence. It's not the situation. It's not the person. It's not the economy. It's not the future. It is identification. What on earth does this mean? Let's use Osho's own brilliant example. He says, you love a woman, or a man, or a partner. It's a beautiful feeling, but, with the love, in the same parcel comes fear. Why? Because you identify. The moment you say, I love this person, the mind does a sleight of hand. It says, this person is mine. My happiness is now attached to this person. My worth, my joy, my future, is identified with them. And the mind, which is a master of creating problems, immediately starts its work. Osho says, you fear, she may leave you. The mind whispers, she has already left somebody and come with you. There is a precedent. How sharp is that? Osho sees right through our psychology. He says, the mind then concludes, perhaps she will do the same to you. And boom, there it is. Fear. You feel knots in the stomach. That knot isn't from love. That knot is from identification, from the fear of loss. And this pattern repeats everywhere in our lives. Think about your job. You work hard. You get a title: senior manager, lead designer, doctor, artist. You're not just you anymore. You are your job. Your identity, your sense of self-worth, is now wrapped up in that title, that salary, that status. And then, the fear comes. In the same parcel. What if I get fired? What if there are layoffs? What if I make a mistake? What if that new person is better than me? The fear, Osho says, that your job may be taken away. You're not afraid of losing the work. You're afraid of losing yourself. Think about your money, your bank account. You check it. You see the numbers. You feel secure. You have identified your safety with that number. And sir, in the same parcel, comes the fear. You may go bankrupt. What if the market crashes? What if I have an emergency? The number becomes your God, and your God is fragile. Think about your health, your body. You identify with it. I am a healthy person. I am a strong person. I am a beautiful person. And then the fear comes. Every ache, every pain. What if this is serious? The fear that somebody may die, and that somebody might be you. Do you see the pattern? It's a prison we build for ourselves. The fear is not of losing the job, the person, the money, or the health. The fear is of losing a part of ourselves that we have falsely glued onto these external, changeable, temporary things. Osho's diagnosis is simple and brutal. You are too much attached. And then, he brings us back to a simple, fundamental, existential truth. A truth so obvious, we spend our whole lives ignoring it. He says, you cannot get a simple fact. You have come alone in the world. Think about that. The day you were born, you arrived as a pure, singular consciousness. Alone, but not lonely. Whole. Osho reminds us, you have been here yesterday also, without this woman, perfectly well, without any knots in the stomach. You were a complete human being before you met that person. You were whole before you got that job title. You were a miracle of existence before you had that number in your bank account. You existed, perfectly well. And, he continues, with this beautiful, liberating logic, and tomorrow if this woman goes. What is the need of the knots? You know how to be without her and you will be able to be without her. This is so powerful. Let this sink into your bones. The fear is based on a lie. The lie is, I cannot survive without this. Osho says, not only can you survive, you will. You are an expert at it. You already know how to be without that thing. You did it for decades. This simple realization is a key. The fear is an illusion, a projection, a what if that denies the reality of your own fundamental wholeness. But the mind is a chronic worrier. It's a fear-generating machine. It doesn't just worry about what we have. It worries about what might happen. Osho says, the fear that things may change tomorrow. He lists them, as we've seen. Somebody may die, you may go bankrupt, your job may be taken away. He says, there are 1,001 things which may change. And what is the result? You are burdened with fears, and none of them are valid. Wait, what? None of them are valid? How can he say that, Osho? It feels so real. The possibility of bankruptcy is real. The possibility of loss is real. This is where Osho's logic is absolutely flawless. Pay close attention to this, my friend. He says they're invalid, because yesterday also you were full of all these fears, unnecessarily. Just think about that. Think about last year. Think about 5 years ago. What were you terrified of then? An exam, a breakup, a bill, a different job, a different what if? You were burdened with fears then, too. And what happened? Osho says, things may have changed, but you are still alive. You're still here. Maybe the thing you dreaded did happen. Maybe you did lose the job. Maybe the person did leave. Maybe you did get sick. And what happened? You're still here. You survived. You adapted. Or maybe the thing you dreaded didn't happen. And all that energy, all those sleepless nights, all that anxiety, was for nothing. In either case, the fear was unnecessary. It didn't help. It didn't protect you. It just made you suffer, twice. This brings Osho to one of his most powerful, and most humorous, points. He says, man has an immense capacity to adjust himself to any situation. You are far more resilient, far more powerful, than your mind gives you credit for. And then, in his classic, wonderful, provocative style, he says, they say that only man and cockroaches have this immense capacity of adjustment. It makes you laugh, but think about the profound truth in this. He jokes, that's why wherever you find man you will find cockroaches, and wherever you find cockroaches you will find man. He says they even traveled with man to the faraway places like the North Pole or the South Pole. And when man got there, he suddenly found that he had brought cockroaches with him, and they were perfectly healthy and living and reproducing. This isn't really about cockroaches. This is about you. Osho is holding up a mirror and saying, look at what you are. If you just look around the earth you can see man lives in thousands of different climates, geographical situations, political situations, sociological situations, religious situations, but he manages to live. We have lived through ice ages, plagues, world wars, famines, dictatorships, and unimaginable personal tragedies. And, for centuries, things go on changing, he goes on adjusting himself. Your ancestors survived. You survived. You are the product of an unbroken line of survivors and adapters. That resilience is in your very DNA. So when your tiny mind creates that knot in your stomach about next month's rent, or that awkward conversation you need to have, or that uncertain future, you are forgetting your own nature. You are forgetting that you are the most adaptable, resilient form of consciousness on this planet. You are forgetting that, metaphorically, you are a cockroach. You will find a way. This is why Osho can state, with such total and complete confidence, there is nothing to fear. Okay, I hear you. The mind is a tricky opponent. It just heard all that and it says, okay, fine. I can handle a job loss. I can handle a breakup. I am a resilient cockroach. But what about the big one? What if the world actually ends? What about climate change, nuclear war, the asteroid? What if the world literally ends? This is the mind's checkmate move. The ultimate fear. Osho's response to this is one of my favorite things he has ever said. It is pure, unadulterated, radical freedom. He says, even if the world ends, so what? You will be ending with it. It's so simple, it's absolutely mind-blowing. What are you afraid of? Osho asks, do you think you will be standing on an island and the whole world will end, leaving you alone? That's the real fear, isn't it? The fear of being the lonely survivor, left to suffer. But that's not how it works. Osho says, don't be worried. And then he adds the punchline, at least you will have a few cockroaches with you. He says, what is the problem if the world ends? If it ends, it ends. This is not pessimism. This is the highest form of acceptance. The fear is always about me and my suffering. But in a total annihilation, we will not be here. We will be ending with it, and there will be no one to worry about. In fact, Osho says, it will be really the greatest freedom from fear. Wow, the world ending means every problem ending, every disturbance ending, every knot in your stomach ending. From this perspective, Osho says, I don't see the problem. My friend, are you still with me? We are going so deep. And if this is hitting home for you, if it's shaking something loose, do me a small favor and gently tap that like button. It's a quiet way of saying, I'm here, I'm listening, and I'm ready for freedom. So, let's recap. Our fears come from identification. Our fears are invalid because we are infinitely resilient and have survived everything, yesterday. Even the ultimate fear, the world ending, is not a logical problem, because we won't be there to worry about it. If all of this is true, then why everybody is full of fear? If our fears are so illogical, why do they have such power over us? Now, we arrive at the root. The final boss. The real culprit. Osho says, but the question is the same. The fear is part of the mind. This is the heart of the entire matter. Fear is not in the world. It is not in the situation. It is a product manufactured by your mind. And then Osho delivers the knockout punch. The mind is a coward, and has to be a coward. Why? Why must it be a coward? Because it doesn't have any substance, it is empty and hollow, and it is afraid of everything. Your mind, that voice in your head that never stops talking, the one you think is you, is not you. It's a mechanism. It's a collection of borrowed thoughts, past memories, future projections, fears, and desires. It's a biocomputer. It's empty and hollow. It has no substance of its own. And because it is hollow, it is terrified. But what is it really afraid of? Is it really afraid of you losing your job? Is it really afraid of that woman leaving you? No, that's just the surface story. Osho reveals the mind's deepest, darkest, most primal secret. And basically it is afraid that one day you may become aware. That is its basic fear. The mind's ultimate terror is you. You, the real you. The consciousness, the watcher, the awareness behind the thoughts. Osho says, that will really be the end of the world. Not the real world, but the end of the mind's world. You're becoming aware, you're coming to a state of meditation where mind has to disappear. That is its basic fear. This is everything. This is why your mind keeps you busy. This is why it keeps you running in circles of fear, desire, and worry. As long as you are afraid, you are in the mind. You are identified with the mind. You are lost in its stories. You are its slave. The moment, the instant, you become aware. The moment you step back and watch the mind, the game is over. The spell is broken. This is why, Osho says, the mind keeps people away from meditation. It makes you think meditation is boring, difficult, a waste of time, or for hippies. It's why the mind makes them enemies of people like me who are trying to spread something of meditation, some way of awareness and witnessing. The mind becomes antagonistic. And Osho says, their fear is well-founded. They may not be aware of it, he says, but their mind is really afraid to come close to anything that can create more awareness. Why? Because that will be the beginning of the end of the mind. That will be the death of the mind. The mind is a prison, and it is terrified of you finding the key. But now, here is the most beautiful news. The best news you will ever hear in your entire life. Osho says, but for you there is no fear. For you, the real you, the watcher, the death of the mind, will be your rebirth, your real beginning to live. You are not your mind. You are the watcher of your mind. The mind is a tool. You have mistaken the tool for the master. Osho says, you should be happy, you should rejoice in the death of the mind, because nothing can be a greater freedom. Nothing else can give you wings to fly into the sky. Nothing else can make the whole sky yours. So, let's go back to the original question. How best to deal with fear? We don't deal with it. We don't fight it. We don't analyze it. We don't try to be brave. We don't try to find solutions for it. All of that is just the mind playing more games. We do something far more radical. We simply become aware. We watch it. Awareness is getting out of the prison, Osho says, or realizing it has never been in the prison. It was just thinking that it was in the prison. The moment you watch your fear, the moment you look at it with a detached, silent, witnessing awareness, as if you are watching a cloud pass in the sky, a miracle happens. All fears disappear. Try this. I mean it. Try it today. Next time the fear comes, next time you feel that knot in your stomach, don't become the fear. Don't get lost in the story. Stop, breathe, and step back. Say, I am watching this. I am aware of a sensation in my stomach. How curious. I am aware of a thought. What if I fail? I am aware of my heart beating faster. You are not the fear. You are the awareness that is aware of the fear. In that simple, courageous act of witnessing, you have disconnected from the identification. You have taken your power back from the mind. This, Osho says, is the greatest discovery in life, the most precious treasure of awareness. This is the state he lived in. He says, I am also living in the same world, but I have never for a single moment felt any fear. What a statement! How is that possible? He explains, because nothing can be taken away from me. This is the ultimate unidentification. He is not identified with his body, his reputation, his life, his possessions. He is identified only with the pure, empty, eternal awareness. The witness. He gives the most extreme example, and it's breathtaking. I can be killed, but I will be seeing it happening. Do you see the profound distinction? So what is being killed is not me, is not my awareness. That is freedom. That is the end of fear. So, this is the choice, my friend. It's the only real choice you will ever have. It's laid out before you. Path number 1 is the default. The path of sleep. You stay identified with the mind. You remain unaware. And Osho is very clear about the result. Without it you are bound to be in darkness, full of fears. And you will go on creating new fears, there is no end to it. You will live in fear, you will die in fear, and you will never be able to taste something of freedom. It's a stark, terrifying warning. But then, there is path number 2. The path of awareness. The path of meditation. The path of witnessing. Osho's final words on this are a call to action. A call to you. He says this freedom, this awareness. It was all the time your potential. Any moment you could have claimed it, but you never claimed it. It is not something you have to earn. It is not something you have to build. It is not something you get from me, or Osho, or anyone else. It is your potential. It is already there, inside you, right now, waiting. All you have to do is claim it. And Osho's final sentence in this transcript is perhaps the most important, and the most loving, thing he could ever say to you. It is your responsibility. No one can do it for you. It is your life, your consciousness, your freedom. I'm so incredibly curious, after all this. What is the one fear your mind always throws at you? That, go to, worry. Let's do something brave. Let's share them in the comments, not to indulge them, but to expose them to the light, to declare that we are ready to be the witness of them. And if this conversation has sparked something in you, if you want to continue this journey of claiming your potential, make sure you are subscribed. We are here to do this work, together. And please, if you know one person who is living in that darkness, one person who is burdened by fears, share this video with them. It might just be the key they've been looking for. Thank you. Thank you for your time, your courage, and your attention. Remember, the mind is a coward. You are not. It is your responsibility. Now, go and be a witness.